Alright everybody, welcome back to another video, and in this video honestly I have no idea what I'm going to be doing yet. I have to go through the backlog and pick out some tickets. It's probably going to be a super boring video, not exciting at all, would not recommend watching. It's going to be super dumb. And on that note, let's just go ahead and get started. Alright, now that we got everyone out of the way, let's actually build something cool and awesome. Okay, so I'm probably just going to start at the very bottom and take care of some of this tech debt. I know last time I said I wanted to start on the social feature, but what I want to do is kind of polish things up, get them where I want before we build anything new. Now, the first thing is empty states right here. So yeah, let's just tackle this one. Okay, so what this means is that, and let me actually get some empty states. Actually, let me just check out this ticket and we can get started officially. So pull this down. Am I recording? I'm always confused if I'm recording or not, even though I made like 5,000 videos so far. Okay, 28 empty states. All right, now what this means is basically when you don't have any elements, and we already did it for the shop app. Actually, let me delete my products here so we can see one of our empty states. Okay. So this was one of the empty states. Basically just some element rather than having an empty screen whenever we don't have any elements. But I like this one right here. So let's just pull this up off the bat since we can use that as a reference. Okay. So this was using an empty page component, so that is going to be handy. Can minimize you too, and we'll kind of just go through the existing features and see what needs an empty state. So first of all, this wallets page, I'll show you. I already have wallets in there now, but am I on localhost? Yes. Alright, so let me just delete all of these. And I'll show you the empty state for this. And let me make sure I'm getting the true empty state by logging out, logging back in. Well, first we gotta do it for cores, but we'll do it for wallets right now. So this UI, as you just saw, you can create a new wallet, and then when you do, it's gonna appear on the left. And then once you create all the wallets possible, then that button disappears. So we don't really need an empty state for this part of it. But I'm just going to go ahead and delete those wallets again, just so we're working from a true empty state. And also, on the right, you see where we have deposit and withdraw. First of all, this doesn't even make sense to have any of these selected outside the context of a wallet, because first you need to have a wallet selected, and then you basically are depositing or withdrawing from your wallet. But either way, a lot of work to do here. First and foremost, what we can do is we can say if no wallet on the left is selected, then just go ahead and show an empty state instead of these tabs. So basically at this point, if we don't have anything selected, then just do that. So let's get to this right now. So on my wallets page, and actually another thing that we could do is instead of just, I mean, it wouldn't be an improvement. Let me take that back. I'm stumbling over my words here. It would be an improvement to have a graphic here to say like nothing here, no wallets to display. However, what's even better than that is to give them a prompt to say something like nothing here, select a wallet on the left. I don't know, some guidance at least, but we'll kind of do that later. For right now, just taking baby steps here. Okay, so back to my wallets page, and that is in pages, wallets, and how is this structured? So we have our button to create a wallet, our tabs at the top. Okay. So on the right hand side, what we were saying is render tab and render tab content. And instead, what I believe I want is something like this, where we say render page content, or even just render content. Maybe render right content. That's going to be good. Oh yeah. So render right content. Okay. And then what we'll do is, first of all, we'll just go ahead and return this, just so we are getting back to where we started. And then we'll add some conditional logic. So on the right hand side, we're going to call the RenderRightContent function. And right now it just renders what it did before. However, what we want to say is if you don't have anything selected, and how do we pull that logic? Is it manager active wallet? Yeah. So what we can say is this. Tab content is manager active wallet tab. Okay. So in Redux, our manager has an active wallet ID and an active wallet tab. So the ID is going to be something like equivalent to TNB or VTX, and the tab is the deposit and withdraw. So what I'm going to say is if there's no active wallet, manager active wallet ID, yeah, I might want to change this too. This is interesting. Okay, let's take it just a little bit at a time. Okay. So first, I'll just keep it simple, and I'll say if there is no manager active wallet ID, then let's just go ahead and return null off the bat. Alright, if they don't have any active wallet selected, then returning null instead of tabs, and this is going to give us our tabs. Okay, so lots of work to do here, but now you refresh this, actually log back out, log back in. Okay, so I don't have anything, so it's just going to render that null. However, in this case, what we want to do is we want to render an empty page. And maybe this is easier. Yeah, I kind of like this pattern. So if you do have an active wallet, then just go ahead and return that. Otherwise, return that empty page. And I'm going to copy empty page from this component. And also, do you need a graphic? Leaves empty state. Otherwise, render this. And let's see how you do with that. All right. So this is good. Nothing here. No products to display. So the thing about this is, in this case, when I have a wallet on the left, what I would like this to say, ooh, you know what? We're going to change this as well. Because what I was thinking is this. If there is a wallet on the left, then what I could do is update this prompt to say select the wallet on the left to see content. However, if there's no wallet on the left, then we probably want the prompt to say something like create a wallet to see content. Now, the reason that I don't think we need that complex logic, and instead we can just say create a wallet, is because once a wallet is created, then the default logic I'm going to add later is that basically, like, whenever users log out and come in, if they have a wallet, it's just going to automatically select everything for them. So in that case, with all that said, what I can say in here is nothing here. Select or create a wallet to, I don't know, create a wallet. What can I say? Nothing here. The bottom text is create a wallet to deposit or withdraw coins. Create a wallet to deposit or withdraw coins. And also another thing that I believe I can add to this element, this empty page element, is on action text. So action text could be something like create wallets. I could say on action text click, and this can be my click handler, and I'll show you what this is doing right now. So this action text is, so you see that this is just static text, and I don't know if you can tell on YouTube, but this is actually clickable. This should be a different color actually. Let me change this to make this a little bit more. So on my empty state component, what I can do is we can say on action text, it's spam blue, and right now spam blue is 500. Let's bring that back a shade to 400. Okay, so now it's clear that this is a little bit more clickable. But anyways, I'll say create a wallet. All right, now let's go back here. All right, so the bottom text is going to say to deposit or withdraw coins, in the action text will say create a wallet. So deposit or withdraw coins, click on this to create a wallet, and this is going to do the same logic as this button right here. So in that case, render button container. Okay, so on click, toggle wallet modal, and then where are you at? Render content. When you click it, you're also going to pop up this modal. So check it out. Here, it's going to say deposit or withdraw coins, create a wallet. You create it, and this modal pops up. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Now, another thing that I want to do is this. Let's delete our wallets and keep coming back here from the perspective of an end user. Oops. Until we get all the logic that we want. So I'm logging out, I'm logging in, wallets. Okay, this is good so far. Create wallet button on the left, empty state on the right. Now I want to say, create a wallet. I'm gonna create this wallet, and boom, right there. Now at this point in time, what I'm gonna do is I actually want this state to happen right after they create the wallet. And what that entails, so if we can just take this, break it down even more, is it's going to require two actions. One is you're going to update your manager to set the active wallet ID, and another is you're going to update the manager to set the active wallet tab. So where is that logic going to go? And I'm thinking this left section can just house that. And on this note, we probably want to start splitting up this component. Okay, so the left menu has the button container and the menu items. The menu items, okay. In the button container, what are you doing? So you have a toggle in there for the modal. Okay. So maybe I just stick it in this entire page. Okay, now let me think how this is going to work. What I'm thinking first is, even though, so basically the logic I'm going for is going to say something like this. Log out. I know you guys are probably getting sick of me logging out and logging back in. But basically, if you go to this page and there is an available wallet, then just go ahead and set this to your active wallet and set the default tab to deposit. And this is only going to happen if the user doesn't have a wallet selected yet. Because basically, if there are options but they have nothing visible, then that's what we want. Now, what I can do is I can check for this in the manager. However, we also get into a weird situation. This is very rare, but they can indeed have an active wallet ID, but no active wallet. And that is if they created a wallet, but then the core gets deleted. And in that case, what happens? That is interesting. That is interesting. You know, I think they would still have this. Actually, what does happen whenever a core gets deleted? I believe that the wallets would still exist. Yeah, just with a null reference. Okay. So, let's say this. If okay. So we're going to create an effect that says, first of all, check if you have wallets. Yeah. And how we can do that, we can just do the keys of these, because we'll just set it equal to the first one by default. And how are these wallets ordered? Okay, I'm going to name this wallet list. Order by ticker. Okay. And those are wallets. Ordered wallets to. Okay, let me just look for wallet list. Okay. So I'm going to name ordered wallets to wallet list. And let me move this up here. And then what I'm also going to do is put a use effect here. And then I'm going to say, if there are no wallets, just return, don't do anything else. Now, if there are, and just thinking and or. So if manager.activeWalletID and manager.activeWalletTab, so if they already have a wallet selected and a tab selected, then just go ahead and return. We don't need to do anything. Otherwise, I would say we are going to get the first wallet, and we are going to update the manager to set the active wallet ID to the first wallet.id. And then we are also, actually this update manager, we can pass in multiple things, right? Yeah, partial. Okay. Update manager to set the wallet ID to the first wallet ID. And also the active wallet tab is equal to wallet tab deposit. Okay, and this should take care of all of this logic. Okay, now, okay, perfect, that was good. So log out, log back in. My wallets, okay, great. So I already had one, so it automatically selected it in Redux, and it led me to the deposit page. Now just to kind of check my empty state still working, let me delete that. Log out, log back in. So now what should happen is I should see nothing here to deposit or withdraw coins, create a wallet. And now whenever I create one, it should automatically pop that so I don't have to select it, just like this. Go to withdraw, comes back, doesn't change it, okay. And now the last thing I want to test is if I have multiple wallets, and let's say I'm on Vitaxia withdraw. Now when I navigate away and come back, I just want to make sure that it didn't override that, and I'm still on Vitaxia withdraw. Okay, so that is great. This is looking great. Beautiful. Okay, so now let me just okay. Use effect. All right, seeing if there's anything I could organize or improve even more, but looks good for now. So now let me run lint this, and actually I can push it up, but we still got more work to do before we can merge it in. This would just serve as like a checkpoint. And this is, what was this, 28. Actually, what was my styles changes? My styles, what did I change? Oh, yeah, just that shade of blue, okay. So now another empty state is for the cores page. So let's do that. Let's just and this is going to delete a bunch of stuff. Do I want to do this already? Yeah. Yeah, why not? All right, so log back out, log in, and now gotta tackle this page. Okay. So I think what we can do, this is interesting too, since right now I have it set up where only I can add a core. However, that's kind of just to prevent spam. Eventually, I want to have it where other people can add a core too. And I do have this button, even though it's not going to work for anyone else. But with all of that, now I have to think, what do we want the empty state to be? Well, either way, we're going to have a graphic here if there are no cores. We know that, so let's just do that already. Okay. So this is the cores page, so source, pages, cores. And then in the core cards, So, ooh, this is interesting too. So we have a toolbar at the top. And that is where the button is. However, we can replace this with our section heading component. I think we're just a little out of date. Okay. All right. So first, let's just get everything standardized. This was one of the first components I made, so that's probably why we never did this. But either way, we're going to replace that toolbar with a section heading, and it's going to say cores. And then we are also going to have a render button component. And this is going to return this. Return this. Okay. And now that we moved the button to a section heading, this toolbar, which is the cores one, right? Yep. All right, the toolbar no longer needed. Let's just see how we're looking. Cores. Now let's add some padding to this. That's interesting as well. That is interesting as well. All right, so for this, ooh, this is what we can do actually. Just use that empty text. Beautiful. Okay. So first of all, actually, let's go to my address pages and steal this. Yeah. So on my container, first of all, I have this padding. Beautiful, beautiful. And then just like on shop my addresses, we can just say no addresses to display, and we'll actually just use the same pattern. Address select modal. Okay. Yeah, we can just do this. Cores list. Yeah, let's copy a lot of this logic. Okay. So we are using memo, and we are going to say cores list, and this is going to be, we'll just have it return this. Okay. Now, we don't need this because that's replaced with that. And then for rendering core cards, we can say, well, first of all, let's, yeah, this is right. Content right under section heading. Okay. So we're going to be rendering content instead of rendering cores cards. Now if we do, how did we do it here? Render addresses, and then that one in your addresses. What we can do is say something like render cores. And then here we can do core cards equals this, and they're going to be rendered in the core cards container. And then we can say if you have any cores, then we are going to render those. Otherwise, we're just going to say no cores to display. And all of that is happening right here under the section heading. Yeah, and this is addresses, address We can even rename that to cores if we want, but well, baby steps. LMNOPQ. All right, so let's see what we got going on here. All right, we don't got any cores. It says no cores display. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so now let's actually add a core and see how our styling still looks. So the DoomBoston.net. Where's my logo? Where's my TNB logo? Logo 512. I'm the owner, Bucky, and ticker TNB. Now if I have a core, all right, that looks pretty good. Styling is off a bit, and that is because in my container I have padding on the left and right, and I don't think I need any of that. Just a grid of 12. Yeah. Well, I actually do want padding top and bottom. So I'll do padding maybe 16.0. Actually, what was it on my addresses? Let's look. Okay. By addresses, what was the padding on this? Go to addresses. Oh, it actually just had a margin top of 12. That's even better. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, this is nice and consistent. Cards container. Give me addresses. I don't like this name, cards container. Maybe cores container. It's not bad though. Okay. So this looks good. And then this is going to be a grid with 12. So my cards will be laid out like that. All right. This is looking good. This is looking good. Cool. So empty state for those taken care of. Yeah, I got into this situation too, where if I don't have any cores, then on this section right here, you can't create a wallet because you don't have any cores. However, that's going to be, I don't even think we need an empty state for that, since that's a very rare situation. First of all, when there are no cores at all, because usually you're at least going to create one, even if you spin up this exchange yourself, then you're going to create one before like inviting friends or anything. So not really worried about any of that. So now let me create another core. Actually, before I do that, let's yeah. So this is another thing too. Empty state, if you don't have any asset pairs. Okay. Actually, let's work this one from kind of the backwards, kind of work it in reverse because I want to do this. All right, I'm first going to create the empty state, which most people are going to see. And for this to happen, we actually need two cores to create an asset pair, since it's pretty much what coins do you want to trade for other coins. So I'm going to save this and add another. I'll add Vitaxia. Let's do, where's the V logo? This one looks good. I'll say I'm the owner of this and it's VTX. Okay, now for the asset pairs, basically what coins are tradable with each other. Say VTX can be traded for TNB, and now the user has an option of selecting the asset pair, and then this happens. So the first thing that I want to do is kind of do what we did with the exchange if they have a wallet, which is whenever they log in, as long as they have something, then go ahead and select that to the active thing and also select the default tab for them. Also, this deposits is empty right now, which we may want to change, but otherwise. So right now, what we do is the app has an asset pair. However, it's just not selected just because we didn't write any logic to select it when you don't have anything selected. However, in this situation, what I want to do, let me see what's going on with the Redux. So what I want to do is say if you have an asset pair, just go ahead and set that. Now all this does is it updates the manager with the active asset pair ID, and this tab must be in state. Okay, just trying to get a lay of the land. So order book, okay. So let's do that. So for the exchange, we're looking in the main area, and we are looking at the trade section. All right, so we are where we want to be now. This is the asset pair selector. Now here is the thing. Okay, let's just set the defaults first and then we'll worry about everything else. So what I'm gonna say off the bat is in our store, we have asset pairs, and given that, and we don't have an active asset pair selected, this should never be the case. If you do have an asset pair in Redux and no active one, just set that equal to the active one. Similar to how we did it for wallets. So let's just get that logic first. And to do that, we can just borrow the logic that we just wrote from, where was it, right in here, right? Yeah. So first, let's get the asset pair list. Do you even need to do the active asset pair? Use active asset pair. Okay. So we can indeed do it here. So let's select those first, and we can actually borrow from here. So asset pairs first, we need to import these. And then just import everything that we're gonna need. Okay. And then I might as well say asset pair list using use memo. And I'm not going to need order by, because this is just going to return asset pair list. Asset pairs all right. So my asset pair list is all of basically my asset pairs. And now what I can do is pretty much just copy this. Actually, do we even have dispatch in here? Not yet. So we're gonna need to be dispatching some things. So let me get that ready. And okay. And we're just going to borrow you to use as a template. So we're going to have a use effect statement in here. And then we may be potentially calling this function, which comes from store manager. And we're basically going to say, if you don't have any asset pairs, then don't even worry about this. Just, you know, forget it. Now, we also need to import manager since we're going to be inspecting this part of our store. All right, So our store manager, actually we can use this. Yeah, let's just do this. If you don't have any asset pairs and all right, so if you don't have any asset pairs, then just return. And then we can say if you don't have an active, or if you already have an active asset pair, then return this as well because you already have selected. And then we can shorten this to say, or if you already have one selected, then don't worry about it. Otherwise, what we are trying to do is we are just going to get your first asset pair that you have, and we are going to set that first asset pair ID. And this can be prettier up, I believe. And why? Oh yeah. All right, so check this out now. What we are doing, I wonder if I can clean this up too. This is pretty good. Maybe just tighten this up. Alright, either way, just want to make my coding consistent, but here we're saying that what's going on here? Am I missing a, yes, one of these little thingies. What am I missing here? This goes to this, dispatch, oh, it's on the next line. Embarrassing. Okay, so if you don't have any asset pairs, or if you already have an active asset pair, basically already have one selected, then just, don't even do anything, just return. Otherwise, we're going to get the first asset pair from your list, and we're just going to set that to the active one. So here, that's good. That's a good sign. Okay. And now let me log out, log back in, and in this exchange, boom, boom, it's already selected. All right, looking good. And then the tabs for these, they aren't in Redux, they're actually in state, so that all works. Now let me actually just go ahead and test something out by creating another asset pair. Let me actually create another core. So I'll just say bakecoin.com, and this bacon can be the logo. And all right, so let me create another asset pair. I just want to make sure that when I do create another one, then it doesn't change. Some light QA. All right, so I'm logging out, I'm logging in. I don't have any active asset pair right now. So when I go to Exchange, it should pop VTX TNB since that's just my first one. Now if I switch to Bacon TNB, then when I come back, it should still be Bacon TNB. That's good. Just want to make sure it didn't switch to Vataxia. Now that we got all that logic working, what I want to do is kind of go back and just delete all my asset pairs and see what is the use then. So Exchange, I don't have any asset pairs. And in this case, what we can do is just display an empty, we can just display an empty page. since this select, it doesn't even make sense. Okay. So in this case, what we can do is say this is going to be considered content. Okay, so let's do this. We'll say render element of P, render page content. Cannot type today, and I will say if all right, so if you have asset pairs, then what do we know? We know that one is going to be selected even if you didn't do it manually. So if you have asset pairs, then just go ahead and return this as your content. Otherwise, we just are going to return null for now. And then this can just be render page content. And that should be good, at least to get us started. Okay. And why is this? Wait, do I have asset pairs? No, I don't have any. So what's going on here? All right, I'm rendering a page content, and I'll say if you have, what's this? Oh, is this because an empty list is truthy? I think so. So this is true, and that is because an empty list is truthy. So I can say dot length, and that is false. And in that case, let me just say I'll coerce it to a Boolean, even though you can have it without these double ampersands. I don't know. Let me yeah, let's coerce it to a Boolean. Okay. So now if I don't have any asset pair, which I don't, I should see an empty list. Now whenever I create one, and then actually that's not going to work because I only fetch them at this point. However, that's interesting. Why do I, oh, did I not save it? Log out, sign in, exchange. Why do I not have my asset pairs? Oh, I must be fetching it. You know what? I'm probably fetching it somewhere weird in my asset pair selector. Yep. Yep. Here we go. So I'm fetching it in the component that doesn't get rendered. However, what I can do is I can fetch this on app initialization as well. So where would I do that, you asked? Well, in my layouts, my authenticated layout, what I can do is I can say get asset pairs just like this. And then we are going to be dispatching you. Now that should take care of that. Log in. Asset pairs are fetched. Asset pairs are in Redux. Now under my exchange, since I do have one, even though I didn't select it, it is the default option. Looking good. Looking good. Okay, now that that's working correctly, let's go back to this case scenario where we don't have any asset pairs. And in this case, what we can just do is render an empty page. Okay. And wallets, you have an empty page right here. Let me just steal this. Components empty page, and we'll go with leaves empty state. And this won't have any action text. Okay, so render page content, if you have any asset pairs, then you're going to render that. Otherwise, you're just returning this. No action text, no action text. And it says nothing here. I'll say no pairs to display, asset pairs to display. And another thing that I just want to look at real quick is, okay, if I put a period, so no products to display, I did not put a period at the end of there, so when I say no asset pairs to display, I won't put a period either. Just gonna keep things super consistent. Okay, so now we get the empty page element. However, the reason this looks weird is because what we are doing is we are in this container has a padding of 16. Let's see where the height is shrinking. Okay, so this is my empty state. This must be, yeah, my empty state component has a height of 100. However, the parent doesn't. So I believe we can just put a height 100 here, and that'll take care of that. And I don't think it would mess up the active either. I actually think that's what we want. All right, so go to the exchange, looks good. Nothing here, no asset pairs to display. Does this even make sense? Because, I mean, hopefully there is an asset pair all the time, but I'm just thinking in the rare case scenario, maybe, I don't know, someone's setting up this exchange for the first time. They're going to go exchange, see trade, but then it says nothing here, no asset pairs to display. And it's just kind of weird because it's like, are there supposed to be asset pairs here? But what could a better text be? Say, maybe like, create an asset pair to enable trading. Yeah, let's go with that. Create an asset pair to enable trading. Now let me purdy this up, nice and purdy. Okay. Nothing here, create an asset pair to enable trading. Orders, we'll get to you in a second. And now for asset pairs, just want to make sure that when you do have one, that's interesting as well. So I believe, actually, if I log out and log back in, this should work. Yeah, even with the height now 100. However, in that one situation, I'm thinking we just move this hook a little bit. since instead of having this fetch an asset pair selector, it doesn't seem the greatest because the asset pair selector is conditionally rendered depending on if you have asset pairs. However, you don't want to run into the situation where that we just ran into, that you don't have any because you aren't fetching them. So instead, what I'm gonna do is just move this. And why is this renamed? Oh yeah, you don't need to name that. Actually, it may need, that's funny. So it didn't need renamed in this component, but whenever we move it over here, it is gonna need to be renamed. Okay. So dispatch get asset pairs, rename to underscore get asset pairs. It already has a dispatch. And we are just gonna cut you. And let's, where are we gonna fetch you? How about here? And display error toast. Can display error toast, cut you. Clean you up. Okay, how are we looking here? Prettier, 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 prettier. What file are you not pretty? Asset pair selector index. So asset pair selector index, and that is because I deleted a semicolon. Now, okay. So I have an asset pair, there you go. Now the one very rare situation that we ran into that we can test right now is if they are on this page, they don't have an asset pair. Okay, that's fine. Refresh, still don't have one. But then one gets created on the back end. I know this is a super edge case, but you know, why not allow for it? And then they refresh this page. There should be an asset pair at that point in time, and then the logic of the effect should set it, which it does. Beautiful. Okay. Now for the orders. What we can do in this case is when we don't have any orders, we'll display it the same as when we don't have any cores. And then we can standardize our styling as well. So first of all, this is 2432. My address is, this is 2432. Okay. So first of all, on the orders page, this is going to have updated padding. The container is going to have 24 pixels, 32. Yeah. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. Now, the orders has a correct padding. Now let's convert that to a section heading instead of this old school H1. Oh, I remember the days we were using H1s, but not anymore. Section heading, we'll just steal it from cores. All right, so now we got a fancy schmancy section heading component. And instead of this boring dumb old H1 that says orders, we are going to use you. Okay, now that takes care of that. Standardizes it, puts a line underneath, And now what we can do here, first of all, give that a margin top of 12, since that is our standard. And that would be for the table. Table has a margin top of 12. And then we can stick that in render content. Yeah. Okay. So let's minimize these first. All right, so when are we rendering these? So we'll say if we do have filtered orders, yeah, since that's what gets mapped over. And do we want to name this orders list? Yeah, I think so. Oops, what's going on here? All right, now I think I want to name this orders list. Just want to make sure I don't have any other naming conflicts. So I'm going to rename filtered orders to orders list. And then just reorganize these. Okay. Now in here, what I can say is if basically if you have orders to display, then we can display those. And how do we do that? We display the table. So if you have orders to display, then just return this beautiful table, which will take care of all of that. And this is in a function called RenderContent. Now let me pretty this up. Okay. So for RenderContent, if you have orders, then just go ahead and display those. Otherwise, let's return null for now. And in this case, we should be returning null. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, the thing is, we don't actually want you to return null. What we want you to do is the same thing with cores. So cores, and that is empty text. All right, so empty text, return null, empty text, no orders to display. Beautiful. Okay, so trade, empty state. Actually, let's look at all of our empty states right now. So I'm logging out. I'm going to my exchange. I don't have any asset pairs yet. I'm going to my orders. No orders to display. Looking good. All right. So now, what else do we need to do? We already did it for cores. For wallets, that's taking care of exchange, trade, orders, shop. All of these should have empty states already. Yes, yes. And for sell, products, and orders, great. For profile, doesn't make sense to have an empty state because, well, if you're logged in looking at the profile, you got to be looking at something unless you're a ghost. And okay, for invitations, let me just, oh, I got Bob's invitation. But since we're on empty state, let me delete all these invitations. Okay, no more invitations. No invitations to display. Beautiful. Okay, I think that actually takes care of all of our empty state logic. That's pretty cool. Unless I was missing something, but if so, just let me know. And also, our apps is looking a little bit better because we like standardized some stuff, like this orders header, the course header, I think. They're all section headers now, which is, I don't know, it's feeling like it's looking a little bit better at least. So yeah, let me go ahead and lint this bad boy. So I'm run lint. And then I'll do a quick code review. I also want to keep an eye out for this. If I just check if the boolean of any list, because I need to remember that an empty list is truthy in JavaScript. Okay, now let's review. This is good. We're fetching asset pairs whenever the app is initialized, and also whenever we navigate to the page as well. And that is fine. Our components, this is for the course page, course list, which is our new standard. Render button, render content. Cool, cool. Cool. Margin top of 12 from that line. Standardized padding 2432. Text component. This is for our orders page. Orders list. Split this out. Get orders from the user. Ordered orders. Sounds kind of funny. Okay, render content. I'm wondering if I should split this out to a render table function. And that's probably good. Yeah. Maybe a little unnecessary. Although we are doing it in some other places, but table has a padding top. Okay. And then this is all cleaned up because we moved this get asset pairs fetch statement to its parent component, since that one's conditionally rendered. And then this one is for the trade section, kind of where we moved a bunch of functionality to. And we're fetching asset pairs there, just in case anything updated after we logged in. And then this is pretty much setting your default one if you have one. Yeah, this is all good. Okay. We added a height to that trade container just to make sure that our empty state was displaying in the middle of the screen vertically. This is just cleaning up some logic. Although I think I want to change that just for readability. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So empty states, do I already have this branch? And front end. Empty states pushed about an hour ago. Okay. So I'll say empty states completed. And yeah, good to go. Another ticket done. Compare this, and my naming convention is this. So 28 minus this, and this closes 28. Create a pull request. And then quickly, even though we just reviewed this, just want to make sure I don't have any to-dos or any comments from any previous commits, and all that looks good. All right, time to squash and merge this bad boy in. Yeah, that was a good improvement there. Okay, so now as usual. Okay, make sure I don't have any lingering changes. And then let's shut this down. And then we will just pull down master and clean up our local environment. So all the changes from master pull down, we're going to delete this local branch. And then we can run this bad boy. And as long as nothing broke, that should be good. All right, this actually helps with onboarding a lot too, since when users come in, then they aren't gonna have to, this is another thing I'm keeping an eye on. So we don't have any deposits or withdrawals now, since we kind of just reset everything. Maybe a question for you. So when we do have deposits, they're going to go in this section, obviously, the deposit section. Now, we got a couple options here. Whenever we don't have deposits, we can, one, just not render this entire panel at all. But that may be a little bit confusing to the user, because then they're like, wait, when I do have deposits, where are they going to go? Now, another thing that we can do is we can just leave it as is. That's always an option. It's kind of clear to me, at least, but I also developed it, so I may be biased. But what we can do is leave it as is, because it's clear that whenever you do have deposits, they're going to go in here. Another thing that we can do is add like an empty state prompt to say like, you don't have any deposits in here, but once you do, they'll appear here. Something a little bit more, nice sounding than that. But yeah, same with withdrawals right here. But anyways, I'll kind of leave that as the question for the community. And on that note, I think we're good for this video. In the next one, what we'll do, actually this is, well, we kind of, two birds with one stone, huh? Set defaults for UI using use effect. Yeah, we did that as part of empty states, so this is close too. Dang, two banger, 2 for 1. Sweet. Okay, so in the next video, what am I going to do? Maybe this one right here, but either way, we'll decide that in the next video. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.